Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 121st po, 121 episode of the Stop COVID Deaths webinar series brought to you by the University of the Philippines. Thank you for being part of our credible online community, and for all those who are just discovering us for today, joining us for the very first time today, sana po masayahan po kayo at marami po kayo matutunan sa topic po natin sa araw na ito. Ang ating pong mga mata, they really play a very important role in the quality of our lives. If we are living with an error of refraction at hindi po natin alam, our quality of life is compromised and we may be unable to reach our full potential, including our ability to learn, work, play, and live safely. And according to the World Health Organization, sa buong mundo po, no, at least 2.2 billion people have near or distance vision impairment. In at least 1 billion or kalahati po ng mga yon, vision impairment could have been prevented or has yet to be addressed. So the leading causes po ng vision impairment and blindness, uncorrected refractive errors and cataracts. Pero ang katanungan po, bakit po tumataas ang insidente ng nearsightedness or myopia? Yun po ang isa sa mga pag-uusapan po natin for today's webinar. Dr. Raymond Francis Sarmiento, Director, National Telehealth Center, National Institutes of Health, University of the Philippines, Manila. Always a pleasure to be with all of you during our regular Friday. And always looking forward to our Fridays because I get to share hosting duties with our adjunct research faculty and our one of my mentors po, no, an internationally renowned public health communications expert, Dr. Susie Pineda Mercado. Dr. Susie?
Hi, good afternoon, Raymond. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. We hope you're all okay. And I'd like to greet all of you who are watching with us on Zoom and participating in Zoom. Also those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube. And for those who are watching on the playback, welcome. No, we know that not everyone can join us at this particular time, but we do realize that people do go back to the playback. Now, the other thing, Raymond, is we've got, we have this new platform for Stop COVID Deaths, and you can now watch Stop COVID Deaths on television. So channel 101. Let's see this. Okay, so Stop COVID Deaths on channel 101. And it's 24 hours TV UP. I think there's a certain time, which is 12 noon to 2 p.m. So, mga replay po, no, we're not going live. Nako, hindi pa namin kaya ni Raymond mag-live. Pero we have our previous shows are being shown. If you want to go back to some of them, just tune in, channel 101, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Okay, so as you've seen in our opening billboard, we say, Stop COVID Deaths, C for continuing our current COVID problems, O for other outbreaks, V for viruses, I for infections, and D for disasters. So we're still using the acronym Stop COVID Deaths. And nako, Raymond, 121 episodes, can you believe it? It's just amazing. We've done this is the 121st episode, and we have got great speakers for you. Only the best. We try to bring the best speakers to you so that lahat tayo matuto, no? So we are still monitoring what's happening in COVID, but we have, we've expanded the topics that we're taking up. And today, our topic is a little bit different, but very, very important also for us in public health. Meanwhile, I know most of you are, waiting for the latest news updates. Because, we spend a lot of time kind of looking for what's the best news to give you every week. So right now, we're here with the news update.
Thank you, Dr. Susie, for our very first news update. we will be talking about yung pong mga refined grains at saka whole grain, white versus brown rice. When it comes to heart disease risk, yung po bang grains na ito, do they matter? So a recent study that will be showcased po sa 13th Emirates Cardiac Society Congress at saka sa American College of Cardiology Middle East 2022, they found that diets high in refined grains such as white rice, white flour, white bread, yung po yung mga refined, no? They are associated with an increased risk for premature coronary artery disease kumpara po sa mga whole grain. So we all know that diet plays a critical role in heart health and can influence someone's risk of developing coronary artery disease. Pero kung mga study authors, they found that diets that are high in refined grain intake, mataas po talaga yung chances na magkakaroon tayo ng premature coronary artery disease. Sa kabaliktaran naman po, diets that are higher in whole grain intake, they were associated with a decreased risk. Pababa naman po yung risk of developing premature coronary artery disease. So essentially po, ang sinasabi po, mas maganda yung po mga whole grain such as brown rice kaysa po yung itong mga refined na white rice po. How about you, Dr. Susie?
Oh, thank you very much, Raymond. So the Japan Ministry of Health has now recommended approval for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for children as young as 6 months old. Japan in January expanded the use of vaccines to those as young as 5 years old. And then last month, it was announced that there would be the use of Pfizer vaccine for those who are about 6 months old. So I think we're going in that direction. Or we're looking at, kasi the earlier you give some immunity, the better. So this is really an interesting news item to watch. And next week, we'll come back with more news for you on the news update. Okay, we're back, and thank you very much to everyone who's with us today. I just wanted to say that kanina kasi ang tagal bago pumasok yung mga nasa chat, no? So sabi ko, natutuwa naman ako. Salamat ng marami sa mga sumasama sa chat kasi habang nag-aantay, it's really good to get to know everyone and just to say hello as a community naman tayo rito. All right, back to our topic for today. Napalayo na ako. We are going to talk about myopia or nearsightedness. And it's a common ocular disorder worldwide. And it's the leading cause of visual impairment in children. So yung myopia, yung po yung pinaka-importanting problema. I think last week, Raymond shared some news that in Singapore and Taiwan, about 80 to 90% of the general population have myopia. So lahat nakasalamin na, ganun ba yun, Raymond? Parang ganun, ano? Everybody needs some...
That's true. Singapore is the myopia capital of the world.
Yun. And a lot of people became interested in that. So we said, okay, let's bring in an expert and talk about it, no? Because actually, in our country, I think there are many people who still go undiagnosed. And naalala ko noon yung lola ko hindi siya makatuhog ng ano yan? Ng needle.
Sinulid sa
Oo. Karayom.
Karayom.
Karayom. Oo. And that was the only time na na-realize na kailangan niya magsalamin, no? So it really interferes with, ordinary things that you could be doing. And so, actually maraming nagsasabi genetics na mamana. In fact, that's what we were taught in med school. But I think right now, there is emerging evidence on the lack of exposure to natural light. Yung mga hindi na nasisilayan ng sinag ng araw, no? Nakakulong na lang, nakatingin na lang sa mga screen. Mukhang may epekto yata ito sa visual acuity. Aalamin natin sa ating mga dalubhasa mamaya. So before that, usually we want to know what people on the ground are thinking. And Raymond, you wanna run through what we asked in the interview?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Susie. And for all those who are just joining us for the very first time, we usually set our discussion into context by having the audience po watch a short video which really encompasses po yung the pulse of the common folks on the street, The question that we pose to them, paano po nyo malalaman kung kailangan ng anak ninyo ng salamin? Sa palagay po ninyo, ilang taon dapat malaman kung kailangan ng salamin ng inyong anak? Please watch this.
Ako si Dionne, isang housewife na may anak na nagsusuot ng may gradong salamin. Walang pinipiling edad ang pagsusuot ng salamin.
Hindi nababase sa edad kung ilang taon na dapat pinapagsuot ng salamin ang isang tao.
Ako ay 12 years old na grade 6 na estudyante. Nalaman ko na magiging functional yung salamin sa akin lalo na meron akong astigmatism.
Sa tingin ko talaga ay parang dapat every year nagpapa-check up ang mga bata kasi hindi natin alam kung paano ang development nila, lalo na kung madalas nagbabasa o madalas nasa harap ng gadgets. So, sa akin talaga every year nagpapa-check up.
Bago sila mag-aaral sa grade school, dapat pinapa-check up na ang kanilang mga mata.
Nalaman ko na dapat na siyang manalamin noong nagsasabi siya sa amin na kapag tumitingin siya sa ilaw ay iba na ang kanyang paningin.
Para malaman kung may problema at maagapan na rin upang hindi na maging suliranin sa kanilang pag-aaral.
Usually kasi ang sign for this I think is yung kapag nagsisquint na yung mga bata. Lalo na kapag tinatry nila magbasa from afar. Or kapag napapansin mo, medyo mabagal silang magbasa than the normal. So, yun ang, I think, signs na magpa-check up na.
Napansin ko nung nanonood kami ng TV na habang tumatagal ay parang pasingkit yung mata niya siguro kasi nahirapan na siyang makanood at lumalabo na yung paningin niya.
Kapag may iniinda ang mga bata, huwag ipagsantabi. Dapat ipa-check up na kaagad sila, lalo na kung inirereklamo nila na malabo na yung mga mata nila.
Naisipan kong ipa-check up yung mata niya at doon nga nalaman namin na kailangan niya ng magsalamin at dahil doon sa salamin na binigay sa kanya, nakatulong ito ng malaki para makapag-aral pa siya ng maayos.
Malaking tulong ang naagapan ko ang kondisyon ng aking anak dahil may posibilidad na mawalan siya ng hilig sa pagbabasa at may posibilidad din na tamarin siya sa pag-aaral.
Para sa akin, malaki na maitutulong, lalo na sa kalusugan ng aking mga anak, naaagapan at hindi nalalala pa ang kanilang suliranin sa paningin.
Okay, thank you very much, TVUP. It's always good to get a sense of how people see what we're going to talk about. And parang nakakatuwa naman yung mga parents, no? Meron silang mga naaalala nila, no? I think we all remember, for those of you who wear glasses, I think you all remember when you started to realize you needed to wear glasses. But I think for younger kids na hindi masyado makapagsabi o makapagsalita, kailangan alamin din ng magulang ko ano talaga ang mga senyales, no? Kailan talaga papacheck up. Anyway, thank you TVUP for that. And before we go into our fun stuff, Raymond has some announcements. Raymond, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Susie. Just a few housekeeping announcements po. No? Certificates of attendance will be given to those who have at least watched 50% po of the webinar duration. We have already released po webinars for webinar 1 to 119th. Hopefully, we'll be able to finish webinar 120 certificates either today or tomorrow. But if you feel that you should have received a certificate but did not, please email us at stopcoviddeaths@up.edu.ph. For today's webinar, we will be following our standard panel discussion format. After our speakers have presented, we will have a Q&A session wherein we will entertain questions from our Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube audience po. Dr.
Raymond, bago tayo mag-fun quiz, parang malumanay ka ngayon.
Meron ba akong I'm feeling well.
You're not feeling well?
No, I'm feeling well. I'm okay. I'm okay naman. I'm
You're
just
okay?
yeah.
Si Raymond ngayon parang malumanay, parang formal, ganon. Sige, okay. So puntaan natin, Raymond, yung ating fun quiz, and we have our animated video for you. Please go ahead.
Intro. Yes. Go ahead.
Hello.
Kumusta na kayo lahat?
Hi, I'm Doc Susie, the mini Doc Susie.
And I'm Doc Radar, the mini Doc Raymond. Are you ready to have fun? Simply open your browser to www.slido.com and enter your code to participate. We will discuss your answers during the panel discussion later on in the program.
We will have it flashing on your screen in a bit, and we look forward to your answers. Masaya at madali lang ito. Join na!
Natatawa pa rin ako dyan, Raymond, eh. Kahit
Sa
na ilang
next
beses.
webinar natin, may paana yan. Yung crank ko.
Meron na iba. O, sige, okay, game.
Thank
Ito
you.
na,
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you, TVUP, and thank you, Dr. Susie, for all those who are joining us outside of the Zoom. Please open up your browsers, type in slido.com, and when you're prompted, please enter the code 5405717. That's 5405717 for you to be able to participate in our fun quiz. Meron po tayong 3 katanungan for today's fun quiz. First question, in a class of 40 students, ilan po ang hindi nakakabasa ng nakasulat sa blackboard? 2 students, 4 students, 6 students, or 8 students po ba ang hindi po nakakabasa? In a typical 40 students po na class, ha? For our second question, ano kayang maaaring gawin para hindi tumaas ang grado ng mata? Meron po tayong 3 options. Is it bright light outdoor exposure? Meron po din sila, huwag maligo sa gabi, baka may mga ganun pong paniniwala with regards to yung parang lumalabo daw yung mata dahil naligo ka sa gabi. Or huwag matulog, nabasa ang buhok. Oy, sinabihan ako niyan dati nung bata ako.
Hindi ka nakinig, Raymond. Hindi ka nakinig. Nakasalamin.
Nakasalamin no. It proved prophetic. Anyway, we'd like to greet those who are joining us from the Allied Care Experts Medical Center in Bay Point, Olongapo, Zambales, from Bicol Regional Hospital and Medical Center in Legazpi City, Albay, from the Cebu Provincial Hospital in Car City, Eastern Visayas Medical Center, Tacloban City in Leyte, and Zamboanga del Sur Medical Center in Pagadian City. There are those who are joining us also from Parañaque, from our regulars from the University of Santo Tomas Otorhinolaryngology, Head and Neck Surgery, Endoscopy Unit and Center for Kidney Diseases, from the UP PGH Ward 1. Maraming salamat po. May mga nag-greet na rin po from Quirino Memorial Medical Center Laboratory, UP Los Baños. Those who are joining us from DepEd po na side, Office of Tuguegarao sa Region 2. Maraming salamat po. Meron din pong joining us from the Department of Science and Technology and Picard, which is in Los Baños po. Those who are joining us also that are part of the screening of children po, maraming salamat po. Also those from Osamis, Osamis City. Ito pala, Osamis City po pala sila. From Rizal, from the Ecosystems Research and Development Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources located within UPLB campus. From Cavite, from Bataan, from PCSO, the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. For question, and those from Dr. Yangas Colleges in Bukawi, Bulacan, and from Pampanga. Question number 3, what is the recommended screen time of children aged 2 to 5 years old? Is it 2 hours? Is it 4 hours, 6 hours, or all day, every day? Yan po ang choices po dyan. We'd like to greet those who are joining us from University of Hail in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Those joining us from Dubai, maraming salamat po. From Chonin Hospital in Taipei City in Taiwan, and from Canto City in Vietnam. We will not be closing our fun quiz po. Mas marami pa po ang sumagot sa ating fun quiz as we try to move on to our webinar proper. Dr. Susie?
Yeah, alam mo Raymond, meron na tayong mga questions sa Q&A, no? So we want to encourage everyone to put your questions in the Q&A. Tutuwa ako, nakikita ko yung mga tanong-tanong na dyan. Okay, so that means it's a really very, what should I say, very relevant. It's a very relevant topic for everybody, no? Kasi ito nga, nakikita nga natin, dumadami yung merong myopia. Anyway, let's go to our main speaker for today. So our speaker for today is a very well-known ophthalmologist. Siya po ay Nakafocus po sa public health. Ibig sabihin po, kasi yung ibang doktor ay talagang isang pasyente, one patient at a time. Okay? So I would say that Leo works in the space of eye health as a public health issue. And he's really well known in this field. Siya po ay director ng Philippine Eye Research Institute of the University of Philippines National Institutes of Health. So let's welcome Dr. Leo Cubillan. Leo, welcome.
Good morning and good afternoon pala sa lahat. Thank you, Doc Susie. Thank you, Doc Raymond, sa pag-imbita dito sa as panelist dito sa Stop COVID Deaths webinar. Congratulations pala. Ngayon ko lang din nakita na 120 na episodes, no? And so this is the 121st.
Yeah, marami na nga, and we're just really so excited to have you and to talk about eye health. Because we all appreciate the work that you're doing and realize how serious a problem this is. No, but go ahead, Leo, with your presentation. You can draw up your slides.
Okay. Sige, thank you. Share ko yung slides and ayun yung ito ang title ng webinar natin. Ilang taon dapat ba magpa-check-up ng mata ang isang bata? At nakita ko na ipakita ko sa lahat, i-discuss ko itong mga topics na to. Yung nung 2018 pinag-aralan natin ano ba ang mga sakit sa mata ng mga tao dito sa Pilipinas. It's a population-based study, the Philippine Eye Disease Study. Then we'll discuss the EOR, error of refraction at myopia progression dito sa mga bata. And we have the National Vision Screening Program na kaka-sign into law nung previous towards the end of the previous administration. Online remote vision screening as well as recommended screen time for children. Now, ako po ay from the Philippine Eye Research Institute sa National Institutes of Health sa University of the Philippines, Manila. Kami po ay gumagawa ng mga population-based studies at saka programs para maibigay namin sa UP at sa DOH para makapaggawa ng mga programs and policies for eye care in the country. Actually, dahil nakita ko na Stop COVID Deaths itong webinar na to, pakita ko lang itong slide na nilabas namin during COVID na yung eye naman kasi theoretically mucosa siya, no, parang dito sa nose, no, and throat, no, kaya potential din siya kasing tamaan ng COVID, no, for transmission, but it's not really hindi significant, no, although potential lang siya. May mga reported issues on yung mga may COVID na nagkaka-red eye sila, nagkakaroon sila ng congestion, no, conjunctivitis sa mata. And nakikita din ito. That's the reason why na in a way pag nagpapatingin sila at saka may iba naman as the disease is resolves, no, or treated, nawawala naman. Now for today, the first topic na pag-uusapan natin ay itong Philippine Eye Disease Study. Ito ay ginawa natin population-based study. So we did a randomized po yun na in-identify natin different areas in the country. Nagdala po tayo ng mga different equipments and we have our team, no, from Perry para tingnan ano ba ang mga dahilan na bakit hindi nakakita yung mga tao sa Pilipinas. And actually, I just want to show that if you compare around 21 regions in the world, yung prevalence of blindness and visual impairment, ang Pilipinas nasa top 1/3, no, Southeast Asia, and compared doon sa more developed countries, no, may kaibahan din yung reason pero at saka mas madami, no, and para maintindihan natin yung sinasabing ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng visually impaired or blind. Pag pag sinabi mong blind, no, sa World Health Organization na definition, pag 1 meter, no, pinapabilang ka ng daliri, kasi yung daliri parang doon sa Snellen chart, yung E, parang ganun yung size, no. So pag pinapabilang mo at 1 meter at hindi niya na mabilang yung daliri mo, considered na siya as blind under WHO definition. Pag visual impairment naman, pag doon sa familiar chart natin na Snellen, ang nababasa mo, the Snellen chart is either, depende sa size, no, either nasa 10 or 20 feet or 3 or 6 meters, no? Ang nababasa mo lang yung top 3. Even with eyeglasses, yun lang ang kaya mong basahin, considered ka na visually impaired. And nung tiningnan natin sa Philippines, 1.98%, no, of the Filipinos ay visually impaired. And actually, mas madami ito dati. But we have many programs sa DOH on prevention of blindness and treatment of diseases causing blindness over the years, no. So medyo nabawasan naman yung percentage. However, dahil dumadami din ang tao sa Pilipinas, so medyo kapareho din yung total number, although hopefully we are able to address this better, no, kasi dumadami din ang doctors natin at saka nag-i-improve yung healthcare services ng ating DOH. No, so yung major cause of visual impairment sa Pilipinas ay cataract pa rin, no? Around 1 million people may catarata. And sinasabi natin ilan ba ang kailangan maoperahan na? Around 400,000, no, kailangan ng maoperahan. Usually ang guide nun parang nasa visual impairment ka na. So sa Snellen medyo yung first or second na lang or third ang nababasa mo. Kaya po yun yung pwede. Pero yung mga mas malinaw pa, it's an option, no, kasi kailangan din natin isipin ano ba ang capacity natin para maoperahan, hindi naman ganun kadami, no, sa isang taon. Kaya we prioritize people with visual impairment. But the error of refraction as a cause of visual impairment, no, around 400,000. Yung glaucoma naman, glaucoma is around 300,000 ang may glaucoma, o yung tinatawag na may damage sa optic nerve dahil either weak yung optic nerve or mataas ang presyon ng mata. Or yung meron namang problema dahil sa diabetes, no, yung diabetic retinopathy, as well as problem sa sentro ng paningin or maculopathy, around 200,000 naman. Now, but if you look at yung error of refraction pala, syempre mamaya pakita ko mas madami yon, pero yung uncorrected, ibig sabihin wala silang salamin, kaya causing their visual impairment. Now, tiningnan din natin paano naman yung kasi marami they don't feel any problem sa mata, hindi sila medyo malinaw naman yung paningin nila, no? But actually meron din silang error of refraction, yung karamihan, na pag binigyan mo ng salamin para mas malinaw pa ang paningin nila. And of course yung glaucoma, silent disease kasi yun, no? So almost mga 700 to 800,000 Filipinos may glaucoma. Malinaw ang paningin mo pero actually may sakit na. And diabetic retinopathy, around 600,000. In fact, nung tiningnan namin, kagaya nung mga ibang data natin sa DOH din naman, no? Nung tiningnan natin yung mga population na in-examine natin for the eye, nakita natin na for those na, kasi in-examine din natin yung sugar nila kasama doon sa protocol natin, and nakita natin na 40% of the people na may diabetes, hindi nila alam meron sila. And in fact, dito sa 40% na may diabetes, may porsyento, mga around 5%, may problema na sa mata, no? Medyo advanced na yung diabetes niya. So, importante talaga at natitingnan at nasi-screen. Now, when we look at the myopia or error of refraction, yung nearsightedness, no? Dito sa data natin, no? At kindergarten, 8.9%, no? Around 10% ang merong error of refraction. So marami naman na parang doon sa quiz na pinakita natin, no? Although yung sagot is 8, tama ba? Tama naman, no? 8, no, doble, pero kung ibig sabihin na meron, no? Around 8.9%. Pero pagdating sa high school, umaabot na to sa 16%, no? And 90% of those 60% are myopic. Kasi may iba naman na farsighted, no? But majority are really myopia. At pinapakita na it's increasing prevalence, dumadami worldwide, no? And those with high myopia, yung sobrang taas ng grado, above mga 600 or above yung grade, may mga complication that can lead to blindness. And napag-alaman na outdoor exposure will reduce myopia progression. At saka may mga gamot na, wala pa sa Philippines, pero meron na rin, kumbaga, parating na rin yun dito, no? For those with high myopia, may mga gamot na rin para to reduce progression. Pero ang pinaka-importante ay ma-increase yung outdoor exposure. Tapos maging part siya sa education curriculum. Later, pag-usapan natin uli yan. Pag tiningnan mo dito, ano ba ang projection worldwide, no? This is this data, 2016 data. Pinroject nila. Ano ba mangyayari, no? Pag 2050. Kaya naging inaano to ng World Health Organization. Sa Southeast, sa Asia Pacific, from 50% yung average. Southeast Asia pala 39%, magiging 62%. Although varied tayo sa Philippines, pinakita natin na around 16% tayo. Pero aabot sa may mga areas kasi like Taiwan or Singapore na nasa 90% level sila. Kaya ang average natin around 39% sa Southeast Asia. And ito ay increasing, no? In the next, by 2050, medyo mataas na, no? Iniisip nga nila, kalahati na ng tao sa mundo ay merong myopia. Now, kaya ang ginawa natin ay nagkaroon tayo ng summit in 2019. This was sponsored by the World Health Organization kasi tinitingnan nila ano bang pwede nating gawin to prevent progression and also in a way development of myopia. And ang recommendation nga natin is 3 hours of outdoor light exposure and or 15 hours per week. Sa Taiwan at saka Singapore, parang may policy sila na pag lunch or recess, sarado ang eskwela, ang classroom para lalabas po yung mga estudyante, lumalabas. At maganda naman sa DepEd natin, meron talaga silang allocated na outdoor activities or classes. And they are saying na they will add 1 more hour, no? For the outdoor activities. Hopefully, kaso nagka-COVID, no? So hopefully ma-implement this year or next year, no? Para ma-reach natin yung target. Now, shortly let me explain, no? Parang itong myopia kasi, maraming mga pag-aaral, pero towards the last mga 10 years, napag-alaman nila na yung mga kagaya nung sinabi ni Doc Raymond na myopia capital itong Singapore. So akala nila, genetic naman ito, no? Pero may study sila, may mga magkakamag-anak na yung isang group ay pumunta ng Australia, no? Dahil yung educational system nila doon, maraming outdoor activities at saka mas outdoor yung mga tao doon sa Australia, but specifically because of the educational yung curriculum, no? And pag-alaman nila na less nagiging myopic ang mga cousins nila. So although myopia as a parang namamana natin is around 40%, pero 60% because of our environment. And in fact, napag-alaman nila doon sa mga animal studies, no, yung chicken studies na pag nilagay mo sa puro bright light lang sila all the time, walang nagkakamyopia. At the same time, pag nilalagay mo naman sila sa dark, maraming nagde-develop ng myopia. That's the reason why we are recommending outdoor light exposure. So hopefully, magawa natin ito. In fact, kinikwento ko dati kay Doc Susie and Raymond na yung dito sa Pilipinas, yung Perry team, yung umiikot, no, to do vision screening at saka yung part of the Philippine Eye Disease Study. May mga areas sa provinces na zero yung error of refraction. Tapos, and then when we look at the association, no, parang sila din yung mas maraming time outdoor. They walk to school, minsan mga 30 minutes para makarating sa school. Umuwi naman sa bahay pag lunch. So nare-reach nila itong 3 hours. No? The average in the country is around 2 hours of outdoor exposure and least dito sa Metro Manila. So kaya dito, although ang average natin at kindergarten 8.9, umaabot ng mga 20 to 30% dito sa Metro Manila. So kaya yun yung importante dito sa outdoor exposure at recognition that myopia increasing yung prevalence. Now, puntahan naman natin itong National Vision Screening. Ito ay naging Republic Act 11358 noong July 2019. Na isa batas to at na sign na into law. But this is a this is a National Vision Screening Act where there is a mandatory screening for all kindergarten pupils. So may tinitrain tayong teachers, the kindergarten teachers or school health personnel para to do this very quick pass-fail method, no? Mabilis lang na pag-test sa bata para nalalaman natin kung hindi ba niya nakikita yung kung may siya visual impairment, ibig sabihin hindi niya makita din yung blackboard. But natin kailangan ito kasi at this age, pag naagapan natin, maaring hindi siya magkaroon ng permanent visual loss, no? 1/4 of the 4 children, 4 out of 40 may visual impairment, no? So tatlo doon, error of refraction, isa lazy eye. Pag lazy eye, pag hindi natin na-treat, it can lead to permanent visual loss. And the more common cause of lazy eye, itong error of refraction din naman na magkaiba lang yung grado ng left and right. So prone ay yung isang mata lang ang mas nag-focus, yung isa hindi nakaka-focus unless it's being treated. Oo. And then and it has a negative impact on social growth and maturity pag hindi natin na screen, no? And also in learning capabilities of the child. And most important, pag kindergarten, minsan hindi naman sila nagvo-volunteer. Then hindi naman nila alam na malabo pala yan na dapat nababasa niya yung blackboard, no? Kaya we have known this for quite some time, but we've been actually working on this for the last 10 years dito. Pero hindi natin ma-implement until nung nag-K-12 tayo. Kasi dati, grade 1, 7 years old, too late na to, syempre, pag mga ganitong recommendations for public health screening, kailangan cost-effective siya. So, ito, nung naging K-12, 5 years old na ang kinder, so, right time, kaya naging program ito ng Philippine Eye Research Institute in collaboration with the Department of Health and Department of Education at sa Senate at saka Congress para maibatas ito. So we screen that, no, because the eyesight develops until they're 7 to 10 kasi nag-grow pa yung eye natin, eh. So kaya kailangan natin ma-screen or ma-treat earlier, no. And ito yung ang ginagawa natin, training of trainers from different regions. Ito yung latest sa Cebu before nag-pandemic. Kaya kasama natin itong yung teachers natin dito, si teacher GL at saka si Mami Riza dito mamaya, no? Isa sila sa mga before pandemic na nagkaroon ng training at saka nag-screen sa classroom. And Perry also we have our team that goes around the country, at saka may mga online training din tayo, pero best pa rin yung in-person or face-to-face training kasi kailangan may demo return demo doon sa mga bata natin. This is the law, no? And then actually essentially itong law na to is we provide a vision screening program kit, no? It's a chart, tapos kompleto na siya. Meron siyang string para tama yung distance, tapos meron siyang transparent key kasi kung mag-isa lang yung teacher na nagsiscreen, pag tinuturo ng bata kung ano nakikita niya, nalalaman ng teacher, at meron tayong mga occluders para one eye at a time. At pag nagsiscreen, we use 4-5 for kinder itong figures, no? Kasi parang some children, they don't know yet the letters, no? Medyo yung Snellen chart kasi hindi na natin ginagamit. Mas scientifically proven itong mga symbols or numbers. And during the before pandemic, may early implementation na tayo ng law. Kahit before pa actually na-sign, meron na tayong mga early implementation. So dahil nag-pandemic, kukonti lang talaga ang na-reach natin, halos 1%. So we're hoping in the next 5 years, dadami po, maabot natin yung target na at least 80%. No? Pag nakita nyo po, pakita ko lang na yung bata dito, yun, pinopoint nila, they point the image. Itong ano naman, so nakikita ngayon ng teacher kung ano yung tinuturo ng bata. So it's very easy to do it, just like maybe less than a minute, nagagawa na ng teacher. And then during pandemic, nagkaroon tayo ng online vision screening program para dahil nagkaroon ng online classes naman. So na-implement natin ito. So may mga few children naman na screen via online. Now, essentially, yung vision screening, kasi meron tayong chart, no? Una, tinitrain lang yung bata, no? O, pag tinuro ko to, ituturo niya ngayon sa chart niya, no? Ito, bilog. O kaya ito, puso, no? Although, universal naman to kung sa ibang bansa, apple yan. Pero pwede puso, no? O bahay. Tapos, ang tinitingnan natin yung depende sa age ng bata, no? So, yung tinuturo natin kina teacher GL. So, pag kindergarten, pag 4 years old and above, dito sa baba, no? Ito kasi nandyan na sa chart for less than 4 years old. Pero pag 4, dapat a normal kid should be able to identify this, and they should identify 3 out of 5. So, pag na-identify nila 3 out of 5, okay sila, pasado sila. But because we don't want na isipin nila exam baka exam ito, meron tayong ginagawang label, no? Kumbaga, anong sasabihin natin, no? If they cannot identify 3 out of 5, sinasabihan natin FR kids. FR ito, ibig sabihin front row. So they are advised to sit the children in the front row para mas nakikita na nila kaagad yung blackboard. And then NFR naman pag regular, pag nakikita nila, so they don't have to be seated in the front row. Hopefully in the future, the DOH is working with, we're working with PhilHealth, no, through DOH, na the children will be provided with eyeglasses, no? Kasi pag corrected na, they can sit anywhere. But for now, by sitting them in front row, mas nag-i-improve na. In fact, may napuntahan kaming school na yung bata, maingay siya yung pinakamaingay sa classroom, siya din yung pinakamalaki. So, maingay lang siya, hindi siya nakikinig sa teacher. Tapos nung na-screen na hindi pala niya, nandun siya sa FR. So, nilagay siya sa front row. Nung binalikan namin, one of the top pala siya sa class, no? Hindi lang niya makita yung blackboard. So in a way, nakikita din ng mga teachers natin na may benefit naman kaagad ito. So sana this program, kasi nag-uumpisa lang tayo, will be successful if lahat ng schools may training na yung teachers at saka may kit. For now, nag-share lang sila, but hopefully in the next 5 years, lahat ng classroom meron na. And then during pandemic, gumawa tayo ng online remote vision screening program. So parang it's in a way we adapted the technology for Messenger, Viber, Zoom, no? Initially Zoom, pero hindi naman lahat pwede mag-Zoom, kaya Messenger. So yung mother at saka kindergarten nasa bahay. Tapos ginagamit yung screen o kaya yung tablet o kaya cellphone. Dahil iba-iba ang hugis nito, iba-ibang size. Meron tayong ginagawang monitor screen calibration. Meron tayong pinapakita sa mother, depende sa mapili niyang eksaktong size sa ruler niya, then yun yung pipiliin nating presentation para makita natin na ito yung size ng hugis 10 feet away na dapat nakikita ng bata. Pati hindi nakita, FR siya, front row. Ayan. Then lastly, we have yung last topic natin, prescribed time for children, no? Yung prescribed time sa children, yung WHO nag-release sila ng what is the recommendation, no? Yung for less than 2 years old, talagang hindi pwede kasi nakikita natin na may tanungin din natin si Dr. Abad, no, yung pediatrician na in-invite natin kasi parang yung mga bata kasi minsan nakikita natin dala ng parents o kaya sa mall nakikita natin nagsha-shopping, maliliit pa sila pero nakaharap na sila doon sa tablet nila, no. Dapat no screen. Pag 2 to 5 naman, we limit it to 60 minutes, no, or less than. Tapos pag older age group, pag children, less than 2 hours, no. So we limit it. But of course, we say na if it's school related, of course naandyan. Pero yung mga for non-school related, dapat limited talaga because it's really more of so that they can have social interaction, they can play outside for the eyes and also for mental health, no, for these children. So with that, no, in behalf of my team sa Philippine Eye Research Institute at yung mga collaborators namin sa Department of Health at Department of Education dito sa mga nagawa naming presentation, no, at pag-aaral to prevent blindness in this country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Leo. Ganda ng presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Cubillan. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Galing. It's the first time for me to see that data also, and I think, very, very informative, no, and very comprehensive. And I think Leo answered a lot of our questions, but I can see that in the chat box, dumadami pa rin yung mga tanong. So keep on putting your questions in kasi pagkakataon natin tanungin sa dalubhasa, no, with our expert. Okay, so our next speaker is going to be introduced by Raymond. Raymond, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Leo, and thank you, Dr. Susie, for our next speaker po. We've had her before, so she is hindi naman po siya a new face para po sa atin. She is the immediate past chair of the Department of Pediatrics at Philippine General Hospital. Please welcome to your screens Dr. Lorna Abad. Dr. Abad.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. I learned... Good afternoon. I was, of course, invited by our Chancellor last week. Sabi niya, Lorna, kailangan kang mag-react. So, can I say no to my friend, Dr. Menchit Padilla? But listening to Leo, initially sabi ko, paano ako mag-react? I was told I will react to what Leo will present. Now, knowing the staggering figure of blindness in the Philippines, na-guilty ako. May kasalanan ba ang mga pediatricians sa figure na ito? So the question nga na ilang taon dapat mag-screen, sabi, di ba, ang bata. Pero I would say that eye screening should start from birth up to adolescence and of course to adulthood. So, napaka-critical ng role ng pediatricians and any healthcare workers taking care of children. Una-una, of course, newborns and very young infants, as mentioned by Dr. Leo, are non-verbal. Hindi naman sila makakomplain na hindi makakita. So, it's a very great challenge for us pediatricians. Dapat alam namin paano mag-screen ng sight ng newborns, diba? Siyempre, we know that newborns will only be having shadows. They only look at shadows. Black pa yung vision nila up to 2 months. That's why, pag 2 months yung bata, tinatanong namin yung nanay, may social smile. Ngumingiti ba yung bata? Because if a baby at 2 months old does not smile, there must be a problem. Hindi niya nakikita yung mukha ng mga tao sa paligid niya. And also, because pediatricians and doctors cannot be with the child all the time, we have to empower the parents. Dapat maturuan natin sila kung ano ba yung dapat nilang i-observe sa mga anak nila. And of course, the pediatrician should, during follow-up, will have to ask, what are the observations of the mother? And as pediatricians, ito yung mga red flags of vision problems. And the only way we can pick them up is to really inspect the child's eyes. So even at birth, ini-inspect na namin yung pupils. Baka mamaya puti na yung pupil niya or merong problema sa iris. We look at the light reflexes. Probably Dr. Leo will be able to explain this to us during the Q&A. And of course, observation plays a very important role sa pediatrician. So bawat check-up, tinitingnan namin kung tumitingin-tingin ba yung bata. We have attractive toys in the clinic. However, during the pandemic, ipinagbawal sa amin ang mga laruan dahil nga daw baka dumapo yung COVID virus sa mga laruan. So, bawal ang laruan sa ngayon. And of course, the most frequent question that our mothers ask is, duling ba yung anak ko? This is a very important question and a very important thing that pediatricians and healthcare workers should observe among the children. And of course, yung simpleng pen light is a very helpful tool sa clinic because we can use that to look at the red eye reflex of the children. So ito yung checklist at various ages. As I mentioned, at birth, the pediatrician should check the eyes of the baby. Siyempre, we look at the history. Yung bang nanay may history of rubella kasi baka mamaya magkatarak yung baby. So tinitingnan na agad yun. Pag yung bata nagkakaroon ng excessive tearing kasi usually hindi naman nagtitears yung newborn or red yung mata ng bata. We have to check for the presence of glaucoma. May tinatawag na congenital glaucoma, which is a common cause, which could be a cause of permanent loss of vision if not detected. Tapos, from birth to 6 months, importante na tinatanong namin yung family history of vision problems, early use of eyeglasses. We check the red eye reflex. We look at the size and shape of the pupil and the external parts of the eye. So ito yung normal na red eye reflex. Ngayon, kung merong abnormal eye reflex, like ito, hindi pareho yung pagka-red. Pag ganito yung nakikita, puti yung kabila, red yung kabila, may problema yung patient. No? So tapos, from 6 months at up, we still check for the red reflex, the pupils, and the external eye structures. And we check if each of child's eye will look at and appropriately follow a toy or face. So, important ito. Kaya, usually sa first few months of life, red, black, and white objects ang pinaka. Of course, we check for strabismus, yung pagduduling. Minsan kasi sasabihin ng nanay, duling ba anak ko? A very simple test na natutunan ko from my medical student days, yung ano bang tawag doon, Leo? Hirschberg's test. Yung ifa-flash mo yung light. Pag yung reflection ng light magkapareho, hindi duling yung bata. So kagaya nito, pareho yung lugar. Ngayon, babies born with hemangioma should be appropriately followed up. Imo-monitor yung size nitong hemangioma because this will eventually, if it progressively increases, baka magkaroon ng amblyopia yung patient. Ito is an example of an abnormality of the iris, may coloboma yung patient. Ito yung example ng abnormal reflex ng light. And of course, a patient with congenital ptosis should be referred immediately to the ophthalmologist because progressive ptosis can eventually affect the vision of the patient. Tapos, this slide just tells us that talagang screening starts at birth. So at 1 to 2 years, sa abroad, meron silang instrument-based screening. Probably Dr. Leo will also be able to tell us about this later. But however, kung wala man tayo nito, the ophthalmologists in the USA say that it is actually these instrument-based screening devices are not very accurate tools to measure visual acuity, but still the best instruments are the ones shared by Dr. Leo earlier, yung cards, no? Yung Leia cards at saka yung number cards. Tapos, yung visual acuity screening is really recommended at ages 4 and 5 years. So, bago pa sila pumasok, kaya early kindergarten. You can do visual screening using the tools presented by Leo kanina in cooperative 3 years old. And you just ask how they can see details of letters or symbols from a set distance. So, ito yung ginagamit. Yung American Academy of Pediatrics recommend vision starting at age 3 and then every year 4, 5, 6 and yearly thereafter. So ito yung tawag dito dun sa pinakita ni Dr. Leo, yung Leia symbols. Ngayon, sa abroad ginagamit pa nila itong hot V letters, but I think the number shown by Dr. Leo is better. So ito, I just want to share with you, being a pediatrician, although I'm a pediatric endocrinologist, the bulk of my practice actually is general pediatrics. And I have seen a lot of patients na it's really important that the pediatrician is very makulit, may pagkamarites, no? So, tinatanong ko usually sa nanay, yung anak mo ba nagre-respond sa visual stimulus? In the clinics, meron na kasi kaming mga nakadikit na mga alphabets, mga animals, doon sa wall namin. Kasi pre-pandemic pa nalagay yun, kaya hindi maalis. So, I usually ask the child, I usually observe the child when he is in the examining room kung tinitingnan niya yung mga figures na nandun. So, kung hindi siya nagre-respond, binabalikan ko yung nanay sa bahay ba, nagre-respond yung anak mo sa'yo. Tapos ang isang napaka-helpful na question na tinatanong ko sa nanay, especially during the first 2 to 3 years, papatayin nila yung ilaw sa gabi, titingnan nila yung mata ng anak nila, kung parang may matang pusa, yung cat's eye reflex na tinatawag. That's a very dangerous sign. Baka may retinoblastoma yung bata. Retinoblastoma is one of the leading causes of blindness among children. It's very important to detect retinoblastoma early because early intervention can lead to a very good prognosis. During the pandemic, I had one patient na sinabi ng nanay, Doktora, pag yung anak ko nasa dilim, bakit maputi ang mata niya? So, right there and then, we had to refer the patient to an ophthalmologist. And this patient is presently undergoing chemotherapy. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, hindi siya agad nakapagpa-check-up, kaya na-inoculate na yung both eyes niya. Another important practical clues that I usually ask the mother is, gaano kalayo ang anak mo manood ng TV? Kung halos idikit na yung mukha sa TV o kaya yung iPad halos nakadikit na sa mukha, those are some of the signs that may tell you that you have to refer this patient to the ophthalmologist. Tapos ang isa ko pang napapansin sa mga pasyente ko, yung bang patagilid pag tumingin. Sabi ko, ganyan ba siya tumingin, yung nakatagilid yung mata? And so I have referred several patients sa Pedia-Ophtha and they turned out to have errors of refraction. And another important thing is ask for the child's performance in school. I had a mother who says that ayaw gumawa ng assignment ng anak niya. So akala niya tamad lang. Yung pala, hindi niya nababasa. Yung mga sinusulat ni teacher, hindi niya nababasa yung letters sa mga libro. Tapos tinatanong ko rin, saan nakaupo? So kung the patient has to go forward, yung iba kasing pasyente na nakaupo sa likod, pumupunta sa harap. So these are some of the practical telltale signs that tell us that we should refer these patients to our friendly ophthalmologists for further assessment. So it's a challenge for us pediatricians kasi because of I admit that we really don't do the chart given by Leo, but I just use the practical, kunwari yung mga baby book, may mga letters, pinapa-identify na lang. So it's a challenge for us to pick up early indicators of potential problems affecting vision. And so we just need to use the well baby clinic visit, not just immunization, but probably to include eye screening, adapt the habit to refer to pediatric ophthalmologist colleague for regular screening according to the schedule I mentioned in my previous slides. And we can adhere to guidelines on vision screening. And probably, Leo, we can look at producing a kit na parang ganito, pero baka it might include figures that are more familiar for our Filipino children. So this is my last slide. I just have to say that healthy brain function needs healthy eyesight. Good vision contributes to improved athletic ability, better driving schools, improved learning and comprehension, and better quality of life. So I hope that we as pediatricians will contribute to the lessening of the figures, or the lowering of the figures shared by Leo earlier. So good day, and we'll see you during the Q&A portion.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Lorna Abad, who's the former past chair ng Department of Pediatrics ng Philippine General Hospital. So, ang ganda din ng kanyang action, very practical, no? And I think, Lorna, kasi marami sa mga nakikinig sa atin are actually frontline workers, no? And ito nga, I think coming together and listening to each other, baka there are some things we could actually start working on, no? And I think Leo's really trying to move all of these things forward, pero kailangan talaga sama-sama yung pagkilos, no? So thank you so much. All right, so we are going to go into our discussion panel. And before that, Raymond's gonna cue some public service announcements. Kasi we have 2 more guests who are gonna join us in the Q&A. Sige, Raymond, ako nang mag-cue. Ng COVID, public service. Okay, let's watch our public service announcement.
Ay, ate, gusto ko nang lumabas at makipaglaro.
Eh di ba magkakasakit daw tayo kapag lumabas?
Magpe-face mask naman ako eh.
Kahit na, hanggat wala daw tayong injection, hindi tayo pwedeng lumabas at maglaro.
Ano ba yan? Takot pa naman ako sa injection.
Huwag ka mag-alala. Parang kagat lang daw ng langgam yun.
Talaga? Eh natatakot pa rin ako.
Eh di sabay na lang tayo.
Pa-injection?
Oo, syempre. Loves kita eh. Para makapaglaro na tayo.
Dahil mahal ko kayo, magpapabakuna ako.
Kaya mga bata, magpabakuna na kayo.
Stay safe and stay well. Mga bata, magpasama na sa Bakuna Center.
Okay, Raymond. Si Raymond yata nawala. Raymond, nandiyan ka ba? Okay. The COVID Communications Public Service Announcement is one of the many creative outputs of Stop COVID Deaths team to push for pediatric vaccination for children aged 5 to 17 years old. And we hope that you can share this message to all parents, guardians, carers of our children so that they will be protected against COVID-19. Mukhang mababa pa rin ang vaccination natin sa mga bata. So ito po isang paalala sa mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon na dapat mabakunahan po ang mga bata. Okay, so is Raymond here already? Mukhang wala, no? Partner, ano bang nangyari? Okay. Tuloy-tuloy po tayo. Raymond will be back when he's back. Okay, so we have joining us today in our panel discussion, a teacher. So nais kong pakilala sa inyo. First, I'm gonna ask all our guests to open their camera. So Lorna and Leo, can you open your cameras? I'm gonna have a bit of a conversation with a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, and one of the parents who will be talking also to us. No, so let's introduce our teacher. Our teacher is Teacher Gypsy Love, and she comes all the way from Region 7. And we also have a parent with us who will introduce later, si Mami Risa. Pero si Teacher Gypsy muna. Teacher Gypsy, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you po, Doc. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. So, gaano katagal na kayo nagtuturo, Teacher Gypsy Love?
15 years in public service po, Doc, in DepEd.
Wow, 15 years. And what age group yung tinuturuan niyo?
Kindergarten po, Doc.
So,
yung mga 5-year-old children.
Simulat sa Paul
Yes,
Kinder na. Okay. Sige, can you tell us, ikaw ba, you've been teaching for 15 years, okay. Nahalata mo ba kung merong batang malabo ang mata? Anong nakikita mo?
Yes, Doc. Yung mga bata na mayroong diferensya sa kanilang paningin, hindi nila masyadong nakikita yung isinusulat sa blackboard at saka yung ipinapakita ng teacher. Tapos pumupunta sila sa harapan talaga, Doc.
Aha. So, kung saan pumupunta sila sa harap kasi nila makita?
Yes, Doc. Sabihin ko, anong nangyari? Teacher, hindi ko po makita masyado. So, with teacher, we assume that those children have deficiency in their vision.
Oo. So, as a teacher, what do you usually do kung ganyan?
Before Doc, yung hindi pa na-introduce yung hindi pa ako nakapag-attend ng vision screening by the PERI, sasabihan namin yung mga magulang, Doc, na dapat siguro ipa-check na kasi hindi masyadong nakikita ng bata yung mga isinusulat sa blackboard at saka yung ipinapakita. So, yun po, Doc. Before that, yung kit na hindi pa na-introduce.
Okay, so Leo, you're here in the panel, no? Can you tell us a little bit, or you can ask questions to Gypsy Love? Did you work together, Leo, and what was that training about?
Yung before, when we were developing the program, we worked with DepEd and other schools, no, na near our area dito sa Metro Manila. But now, yung 2019, we had already our standard training program na binigay kay sa Cebu, no, ito kina Gypsy Love, no, Teacher GL. And yung training kasi is we explain to them the program and then how to actually conduct the test step by step. And yung they do it at the start of school nung pag-kindergarten, di ba, Teacher GL? So it's their option. Parang, actually, we're still working on what guidelines kasi we are still formally implementing it dahil na anong COVID. Whether the initial recommendation was to do it habang kinukuha nila yung weight, no, ng mga bata, weight at saka height. Tapos later on, they can do naman the screening for mga 20 to 40 children. Pero medyo matagal kasi to, so pwede ring iba. Or parang one option is to screen every August kasi sight-saving month yon. Now, maganda yung sinabi ni Teacher GL na minsan napapansin naman nila kasi the child would move, di ba, pupunta sa harap or hindi nakikita yung blackboard. That's very good, at least na-identify na. Pero hindi lahat kasi ng mga bata, Teacher GL, di ba, may mga bata na maaring shy o hindi nila sinasabi or are not just interested doon kasi hindi naman nila nakikita, no? Tapos shy sila. So in a way, by the mandatory screening, So pag every August 1, first week of August, dahil Sight Saving Month. So isa-isahin na niya yung mga bata. No? May set up siya sa classroom. Tapos isi-screen niya para to identify already nga this children. No? This is for grade 1. Gamit yung figures, no, na symbols. For kindergarten, ayan. Tapos they are placed in the front row. Tapos sinabihan namin sila Teacher GL na in the future, kasi ngayon teacher, di ba, nire-refer nyo sa parents, no? May letter kayo para dalhin nila to a nearby eye center, no, or eye doctor, either government or private. Pero in the future, kasi ang experience natin, teacher, di ba, minsan hindi na mahal din magpatingin, di ba? Kung hindi.
Yes, Doc. Minsan, binawali-wala din ng mga parents kasi alam mo naman, hirap financially. So the best option as a teacher, tinatransfer namin yung mga bata sa harapan.
Oo. Kasi hindi rin nila nagagawa, no? Na-experience din namin
yes,
yan.
Doc.
So,
yung iba nagagawa, tapos yung iba, financial matter kasi, Doc.
oo. At saka may iba silang problem pa, no? More than this eyeglasses.
Yes, Doc.
So hopefully the
May ibang
PhilHealth will
priority.
cover the check-up and eyeglasses, no? Actually, for the last 5 years, yung WHO is moving towards na yung eyeglasses as part of the medical device para ma-cover siya ng PhilHealth.
Yes, Doc. Sana nga, Doc.
Ito pang training nyo, GL pa lang tawag kay Teacher Gypsy lang.
Yes, Doc.
Ganda lang. Diba,
Tinanong
GL?
kasi namin, Doc Susie, kung Gypsy ba o kaya Teacher Love. Sabi niya, Teacher GL.
Alam ko GL, ganda lang. Diba? Bagay yan kay Teacher GL. Okay. So, Teacher GL, nung unang nagsimula yung training, anong reaction nyo? Yung ba ay, kasi alam ko yung mga teacher busy kayo, no? How many sessions do you handle na?
I handle 2 sessions, Doc. 35 maximum of pupils, but this school year, meron akong 32 sa morning at saka 29 sa afternoon.
Oo, so marami rin, ano? I mean, you
Yes,
know, and
Doc.
of course,
61.
61 a day, no? Yung hawak-hawak nyo. So, what was your reaction to the training? Kasi sometimes I wonder about that, Leo, dahil marami tayong gustong idagdag sa trabaho ng mga teacher na pagkaminsan, you know, they have so many other things to do. But what was your reaction, Teacher GL?
During that time, Doc, I attended a ganti awarding ceremony because at that time, 10 years na po ako sa DepEd. So my principal called me, Ma'am Helen Stokoning, to attend this training from the Philippine Eye Research Institute together with UP to attend the training in Ecotech. At first, it is a national training kasi, Doc. So I am hesitant. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, kaya ko ba to? About vision. So ano ba ang training na to? So dalawa kami ipinadala ng principal namin, Doc. So doon na-meet ko yung taga-Perry. Tapos as the training, during the training, so na-appreciate talaga namin, Doc, yung kami we portray as a student. Kami yung nag-wear ng eyeglass. Tapos kami yung nagkanda, kami yung nagkanda, kami yung ni-act as pupil. Together with all the nurses and doctor from mostly from Mindanao. So sabi ko sa sarili ko, kaya ba to ng teacher? Dapat ang ang mag-assess ng vision ng mga bata ay yung mga medical expert. So inexplain sa amin na ganito ang gawin kasi kayo naman yung nasa field, kayo yung nakakilala ng mga bata. So yun po, Doc. Then and I very fortunate to be part of the training because hindi naman lahat nabibigyan ng pagkakataon. So swerte lang din po. So additional additional knowledge po. Then the program was new to me.
Thank you very much, Teacher GL. No? Talagang, ako, I really saludo ako sa mga teacher. Palakpakan kaya natin mga teacher natin. Meron ba tayong clapping? Mga teachers natin, no, na despite all of their limitations, ito talagang tinatanggap yung responsibilidad, tsaka ginagampanan nila yung papel na hinihingi, no. Ngayon, we're gonna add in somebody to our panel who is actually a parent of one of Teacher GL's student. Tama ba to? So we're going to call in Mami Riza. Oh, Mami Riza, nasaan ka na? Magkasama ba kayo? Ayan, si Mami Riza.
Good afternoon.
Ay, good afternoon, Mami Riza. Kamusta ka na?
Okay lang po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay. So, yung anak mo, estudyante ni Teacher GL, tama ba yan?
Yes po, ma'am.
O sige, anong nangyari? Kwento nyo nga sa amin anong nangyari.
Una po, sinabi na po namin na teacher sa amin noong December 2019. So, noong December, pandemic na po yun noong March. So, hindi na namin po na pa-check up si Andrew. Pero nung nag-online class or module class na siya, doon ko na rin po nalaman na nakita yung sign na medyo hindi talaga makakita si Andrew. Pag ako yung nagtuturo sa kanya, ilalapit talaga niya yung mukha niya sa module.
So anong iniisip mo noon nung nilalapit niya yung document ba? Papel ba? O sa
sabi ko sa kanya, ba't mo ba kasi ilalapit yung mukha mo? Sabi niya, hindi ko po kasi masyadong makita kasi maliit yung letters. Iko, bakit? Sabi niya, hindi ko rin alam, mama. Yun lang yung sagot niya sa akin.
Ilan taon na si Andrew?
8.
8 years
Ayun.
old. Oo. Raymond, ayan na si Raymond pala. Hi Raymond, welcome back. Baka may question ka para kay Mami Riza o
I think ang pinakamahalaga po, and since we have sina Teacher GL at sina Dr. Lorna, question po, and this is our most upvoted, just I'm reading it now. Meron po bang specific na pagkain para po luminaw ang mga mata? This is our most upvoted question here in Zoom and as well as outside of the Zoom.
Oh, siguro si Doc Lorna yan.
Has to do with nutrition. Dr. Lorna, Ma'am
Siyempre, ang tinuturo ng mga nutritionist, tsaka even sa medical school, yung vitamin A rich foods are supposed to be important para sa eyes natin. So, gulay na madilaw, kagaya ng kalabasa. Tapos importante rin para ma-avoid ang blindness. One of the common causes of blindness sa Philippines, yung measles infection. Pag nagkakaroon sila ng infection sa eye. So dapat emphasize natin yung vaccination among our children. Measles at saka MMR vaccine. Tapos dapat kailangan lang good nutrition, hindi junk importante sa eyes. Vitamin A rich foods.
Ayun, mga dilaw daw, yung mga dilaw. Kalabasa.
Sige.
Carrots.
Oo. Yung vitamin A. Actually, dagdag ko nga, Doc Susie and Doc Raymond.
Yung oil,
idagdag ko kasi dati nung mas marami pa mga vitamin A deficient na mga bata, nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng blindness from vitamin A. And kaya may programa na matagal na programa ng DOH na nagbibigay ng vitamin A, yung patak, no, binibigyan sa mga children, no, school age children. And that's the reason why halos wala na tayong nakikita ng mga eye manifestation ng vitamin A deficiency. However, ang data natin, marami pa rin ang may vitamin A deficiency. Hindi lang siya nasa level na nahakos nung eye. So maganda pa rin na yung advice ni Doc Lorna na kailangan na yung yung like carrots or mga gulay na multicolored na gulay to see the para to supplement vitamin A. Thank you.
Nababalik pa rin tayo dun sa sa mga basics, no? Na yung well-balanced diet at iba-ibang kulay yung kinakain natin. I want to go back to Mami Risa, no? Mami Risa. So si Andrew ay napansin nyo nung habang tinuturuan nyo siya sa bahay na nakadikit yung nakadikit siya dun sa module na ginagamit. Ang tanong ko, sige, so after that, anong ginawa nyo?
Kasi po ma'am, ako, during that time, binabaliwala lang po kasi namin kasi pandemic. So sabi ko sa kanya, baka pinaprank ko lang ako kasi mahilig po talaga siyang mag-prank. Yun yung,
Okay.
sabi
Parang
niya,
niloloko kayo ng anak nyo. Sige, ayaw mag-aral.
Mahilig talaga manloloko. Siguro baka niloloko lang niya ako, yun. Sabi talaga ng teacher nung kinder, sabi niya, yun yung nakita niya kay Andrew, pag nagtuturo siya, yung mata ni Andrew pag ganun, patakilid. Patakilid yung tingin niya sa blackboard, hindi normal.
Hindi
Yun yung sabi
diretso,
nung
opo.
teacher sa akin. Hindi diretso yun.
Ayun. So, ngayon, so dinala mo siya sa doktor?
Sa ngayon po, hindi pa kasi bago lang po kami, galing po kasi Mindanao, no? So, bago lang po kami nung
Saan ka ba?
ngayon, nagklase na dito. Yun lang
Saan
po.
ka sa Mindanao? Mami Risa, saan?
Zamboanga del Norte po, ma'am.
Ayun, okay. Meron mga nakikinig sa atin na Zamboanga del Norte. Sige, okay, game. Sige. Ngayon, tuloy mo yung sinasabi mo.
So, hindi pa po namin siya napatingin ng doktor.
So hindi pa siya. Okay. So ngayon, hindi pa siya natitingnan ng doktor, pero may 2 doktor tayo dito sa ating webinar.
Yes.
Meron ka bang question sa kanila? Okay, nandito si Dr. Cubillan, siya po ay eksperto po sa mata. Tapos si Dr. Lorna naman, siya po ay dalubhasa sa Pediatrics. Anong tanong mo sa kanila?
Yung tanong ko po, nahihiya.
Huwag kang mahiya. Mabait yan. Mabait.
Sa ngayon po, ano pong dapat, siguro sa ngayon po, ano po ba talaga yung dapat gawin namin as a parents sa mga bata na ganyan, yung like kay Andrew, yung mga may ganyan po?
Mami Risa, thank you po dun sa tanong mo. Importante yon. At saka common yun, nasabi din yun ni Dr. Lorna na minsan nakikita mo sa mga bata na tagilid yung paningin o kaya yung doon sa pinakita na video ni Raymond sa yung question sa people in the street na parang pinipikit yung mata, no? These are kasi pag meron silang tinatawag natin error of refraction. So hindi focused yung paningin niya kaya hindi niya mabasa. So ang ginagawa niya, nililiitan niya yung mata niya para mas focus o kaya may astigmatism. Ibig sabihin ng astigmatism, pag nakakita kayo ng mga linya, may ibang linya focus, yung iba hindi focus. Kaya medyo tinatabingin niya yung mata niya. And it's very important pag gano'n na ma-check before the age of 7. Kasi kung magkaiba ang grado niya sa left and right, kasi may preference na siya sa isang mata, yun lang tinitingnan niya kasi distorted yung kabilang mata. And ito yung tina-target, inaano nga natin na because of the vision screening at na-check siya ng doktor, pag nalaman na maaring meron siyang lazy eye sa isang mata, baka one eye hindi kasing linaw sa kabila, and kailangan maagapan, mabigyan ng tamang salamin, at meron tinatawag tayo yung common kasi na for lazy eye, pinapatch natin yung good eye para yung eye na hindi masyado makakita pag may salamin natitraining natin. Kasi ang bata pag pinanganak hindi naman kaagad nakikita, no? Nililearn mo rin yung vision. So dapat malinaw ang paningin May mga kaso kami na Doc Lorna, yung mga newborn na may cataract. Rare siya pero merong cataract. Hindi sila nakakakita pag pinanganak pa lang. Pag hindi sila na-opera, example lang, no, hindi natin na-treat during the first few weeks of life, hindi na siya nakaka-develop ng vision. So pag laki niya, malabo na ang paningin niya. Now for lazy eye, ang cut-off natin 7 years of age. So dapat before 7 na-check na natin. Oo. Para maagapan. Now, Teacher Riza, so far medyo wala pa tayong programa sa na nationwide program, no, for eye care sa children. Pero meron na tayo in several areas in the country. Pag blind naman yung bata, yung talagang severe, meron na tayo. Mga 3 areas pa lang sa Philippines, pero soon para hopefully covered na siya ng PhilHealth.
Pero Doc Leo, I mean, currently, di ba, Northern Zamboanga Norte, what is the closest place? Ano yung pwede na punta? Kasi this is an immediate problem.
Yung pediatric natin na closest doon is sa Davao, yung Southern Medical.
SPMC.
Yes.
Southern Philippines.
Southern Philippines because meron silang PhilHealth program para doon sa blindness in children. Parang ganun.
Yeah. How about Lorna? What's your advice for Mami Risa?
Okay po.
Mami Risa, pwede mong gawin na bata, make sure na hindi siya mag-overtime sa gadgets. Usually, ina-advise ko sa mga nanay not more than 2 hours nga, mas ano nga kami sa PEDEM, mas literal, not more than 2 hours. Kasi ang daming naging problem sa obesity. Sa pandemic, ang daming naging obese. So ang sinasabi ko sa ang mga nanay sasabi naman sa akin, doktora, paano yung online learning? Sabi ko, non-academic use ng gadgets, yung mga laro-laro, 1 hour lang, sabi ko. Tapos basta mami, kailangan regular, yung pagkain niya, nutritious, gulay, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. 2, not more than 2 hours of gadget. 1 hour of exercise, 0 calories from drinks. Yun ang healthy diet para maging hindi obese at saka maging healthy yung bata. At nakakatulong din sa mata pag healthy yung diet.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lorna and Leo. So, Mami Risa, sa ngayon, so magkasama kayo ngayon ni you're in the same room, no? Kasama niyo si Teacher
Yes po,
Gia.
Doc. Yes po.
Nasa kayo ngayon? Kayong dalawa.
Ako po yung pumunta sa clinic nila, sa school.
Okay. So, ilang probinsya kayong dalawa ngayon? Nalilito lang ako Where are you both? In Region 7? In Cebu?
Cebu.
Yes, and Region 7 po.
Nasa Cebu kayong dalawa. Pero,
yes po, Doc.
ayun pala nasa Cebu pala kayo. Ang daming opta dyan. Hindi ba, Leo? Saan siya pupunta ngayon sa Cebu?
Oo, sa Cebu, sa
Vicente Soto.
Sa Vicente Soto. Oo. Doon mo dalhin. Oo, Vicente Soto Medical Center.
Okay, doesn't have to go all the way to Davao. Easier to go to Cebu from Northern Zamboanga. Okay, Raymond, tingnan natin ang mga katanungan ng ating audience. Ang dami.
Sagot na ni Ma'am Lorna yung yung iba kasi our most voted now is myopia related to the use of electronic devices, which we already know it is. But the next question po has to deal with kasi may mga I think there are parents or maybe guardians na parang napapadalas yung pagpatak sa mata, yung mga pinapatak po sa mata kasi makati daw. If you look at the chat, may mga Makati daw bago matulog or anything of that sort. is that something that's recommended, Dr. Leo, yung mga pinapatak sa mata, even if lalo na kung mga bata na nagkakamot ng mata and may mga red eyes, kumbaga, yan sir.
Syempre hindi natin ina-advise yung just use the eye drops, yung over-the-counter eye drops, no? Pero yung symptoms na sinasabi nila na Makati, common kasi yung allergic conjunctivitis. Most of the time yung allergen natin ay itong mga dust mites, no? Dust mites. Yung mga naririnig natin sa abroad, mga
Kaya sila
pollens.
nagkakamot.
Meron din, pero may iba, dust mites. So kaya kinakamot nila. So ang ina-advise natin sa parents na sa bahay, no, make sure na minsan yung mga dust natin nasa mga cortina o kaya kung may rug sa bahay para dumadami yung mga allergens, no. So pag nakita naman siya ng doktor at nakitang merong allergic conjunctivitis, may mga gamot naman tayo na binibigay. Yun yung every morning pinapatak para maiwasan yung allergy. Pero pag wala ng halos allergen, pwede namang hindi ipatak yung gamot.
Oo, pero Doc Leo, let us say, no, the reality is, gabi, Makati ang mata ng bata, kinakamot niya, di ba? Next day, magtatrabaho si nanay at si tatay, hindi naman madadala sa doktor kaagad. Anong dapat nilang gawin sa bahay? Kunyari, Makati yung mata ng bata at gusto talagang kamutin, no? Anong dapat gawin nila? Pwede ba yung water?
Dahil ang most common is allergy, ang ina-advise natin, cold water. Okay. Yung cold water, ilalagay natin sa plastic na may seal, yung ziplock na tinatawag natin. So cold water, tapos cover it with clean tissue. O yung clean, tapos ilalagay natin in the morning. Mga cold compress yan, mga 1 minute. So actually, pag allergic conjunctivitis siya, pag kinakamot mo, lalong kakati yung mata.
Lalong kakati.
Oo, kasi may mga cells tayo doon sa eye natin na pag kumbaga na-traumatize or nag-rupture, lalong kumakati yung mata. So better yung cold compress. Sa umaga, you can do the cold compress para hindi na natin kailangan magpatak ng gamot.
Yeah, that's great. Very, very practical advice. No? I saw...
May nalalaman.
Sige. Ano yan? May tanong ka, Mami Risa?
At least may alam kami na ganun yung gagawin po, Doc. Thank you.
Oo. Diba? Kasi hindi naman maisusugod. Tsaka hindi mo isusugod sa ospital yung Makati ang mata eh. Diba? Yung parang ito na yung what you can do at home, no? So lagay nyo daw sa plastic yung tubig na malamig. Okay, Raymond, I saw so many questions. Teka. Pero baka meron ka nang napili dyan.
Okay. Question naman po is, I think regards to access from Dr. Joseph Tortona. I think it's about the availability and distribution of ophthalmologists in the country, Dr. Leo. Do we have enough in the Philippines? Not just pediatric opta, but opta in general. So.
Yeah, that's really a very good question, Dr. Raymond. Although meron tayong mga around 1,500 ophthalmologists sa Philippines. So based on the WHO standards, kung ilan talaga per population, kulang ito. At saka majority of the ophthalmologists naka-focus, na-situate doon sa mga urban areas. So isa to sa mga programa na ginagawa ng DOH. Meron na nagko-collab, yung gumagawa tayo kasi they are capacitating different centers of the eye. Ang problema kasi sa ophthalmologist, kailangan natin ng equipment. Hindi lang siya yung any clinic, so may equipment. Kaya yung mga regional centers naman, ay hopefully meron namang mga equipments or hopefully dumami sila. But the most important as part of the universal healthcare program is when they go see our municipal health officer or primary care physicians, parang meron silang mga primary eye care, parang eye care program na we're training the doctors, and meron na itong mga nag-uumpisa na rin na meron silang mga parang posters for the doctors to see what are the things that they have to, what they can immediately do for the patients, and ano yung pwedeng i-refer, ano yung pwedeng i-screen, para meron tayong sa entry level, tapos nire-refer nila doon sa centers para matingnan ng mga doctors. So hopefully part yan na pag na-implement ng Universal Healthcare Program. Right now, parang inaano natin yung public to go to mga government hospitals. Pero yung iba naman nakakapunta sa private doctors. Pero hopefully in the future, covered na siya sa yung initial consult sa primary care.
Okay, I saw naka-magnifying glass ako. Sorry hindi ko makita talaga yung chat eh. Maliwanag kasi yung ilaw. Okay, so I'm using a magnifying glass to look at the chat. Raymond, ito. What is your take? Oh, this is for you. What is your take on vision or eye therapy that is proposed by some optometrists basing on evidence and studies? Is this effective in deterring the prognosis of eye problems like myopia? Leo.
Actually, yung hindi ko alam yung inaano nilang program for myopia na naka-advertise pero actually, ang myopia, kagaya nung sabi natin, to prevent progression is really outdoor exposure. That's the most important. And outdoor exposure natin, ang recommended is 3 hours per day, and we are recommending it during the entire elementary school hanggang grade 12. Yun yung 3 hours. Kasi may tanong pwede pa ba sa mga matatanda? Parang dahil yung development ng eye is hanggang 10 years of age, 10 to 12 years of age. So doon natin nire-recommend na they are exposed. So may mga bagong mga classrooms ngayon na like sa China na yung ginagawa nilang glass yung sa sides ng classroom para to bring in natural light. Actually, explain ko lang na yung meron level of light kasi. So sa loob ng bahay, ang level of light mga 500 lang yan. Tapos pag sa laboratory namin, kasi very brighter light, 700. Pero sa outdoor, 10,000 yan. Yung tinatawag natin 10,000 lumens. And but the requirement for the eye to grow properly is around 1,000. So yung 1,000, pwede na sa tabi ng window. That bright light might be enough. And of course, it's recommended during para part siya ng school program o kaya Mami Risa, yung encourage nga, yung parang sinabi din ni Doc Lorna, encourage them to do outdoor activity. Kasi hindi lang naman yan sa vision, kundi sa obesity, mental health. Parang ganun. Tapos so again, parang more of that prevention rather, pero baka yung sinasabi ng mga optometrists, yung if they can correct their eyeglasses, the correct eyeglasses, isa rin yun to make sure that they could see better.
Okay. Sige, Raymond, ikaw naman. Teka, meron pa ako nakita rito. Ikaw muna, Raymond.
Okay, sige. This one kasi they have placed it in the chat. So, okay. Ito. What opinion, Dr. Leo, on blue light filter glasses? This one comes from Azarias Baldomero. According to him, yung mga blue light filter glasses daw, sabi dun sa nabasa niya, it only filters 60% blue light because some blue light are good for our eyes and good for sleep daw. Totoo daw po ba yun? Please explain.
Okay. That's a very good question, Dr. Raymond, about the blue light. Actually, Marami ina-advertise kasi na, you know, you get eyeglasses with blue light filter.
Yes.
Now, sa basic science natin sa physics, ang blue light kasi, yung light kasi, yung visible light, may mga different colors yan, no? Na waves. Ang blue light is a short wave, high energy. Kaya pag pumasok siya, tumama sa mata natin, sa loob ng mata, it can cause more damage. Theoretically, mahirap actually i-prove if it really can do damage, pero we still recommend na because there's a theoretical and that it can affect the eye, kaya iwasan na rin natin yung blue light. Paano natin maiwasan yung blue light? Actually, hindi naman kailangan bumili ng salamin kaagad, no? Sa mga gadgets natin, sa cellphone, merong settings na blue light filter. Oo. Sa iba-ibang settings. Kung yung iba pag sa cellphone, may nakalagay sa iPhone, yung mga Apple products, night shift. Sa Android naman nakalagay blue light filter. Meron din sa mga screens, no? If you put the blue light, then medyo yellowish na ang nakikita mo kasi natatanggal ngayon yung blue. And actually, ang lente ng mata natin, meron na tayong sariling filter actually, no? Medyo kaya
Pero
yellowish
so, Dr.
din
Leo,
yung
ako kunyari nagsasalamin ako and Dr. Susie nagsasalamin. Pag ba magpapagbago kami nung grado, nung mata kasi tumas na yung grado or anything, do you recommend that we get yung may blue light?
Pwede, yes. If you can get those with the blue filter. Again, officially, the recommendation is not in terms of scientific evaluation. It's not parang kumbaga
cut and dry
it's not really well evident in this, wala siyang ganong evidence, but I think it's because mahirap siyang i-prove, but because in theory it can damage the eye, mas maganda na lagyan natin ng blue filter, or yung gadgets natin we can put na the filter. Ang sinasabi ko lang sa iba, pag tinanggal mo kasi si blue light filter, pag nilagyan mo ng blue light filter, yellowish yung pictures. So, but then your camera naman takes the photo as is, yellowish lang ang tingin mo. You can just remove the filter kung gusto mo makita. Mas malinaw. Pero that's our advice, no? I-switch on.
Na magpagrado ako, Dr. Leo.
Okay.
Raymond, matagal ka na ba nagsasalamin?
Since 20, I think 24 or 25. So mga 15 years, Dr. Susie.
Nearsighted ka, Raymond.
Yes po.
24 years old. 24
yes
years
po, yes.
Ako rin I was in my 20s Nasa med school ako. Sabi ko, ba't ako bumabagsak? Di ba?
Ako naman sinisisi ko yung yung microscope kasi tingin ng microscope.
No, but I noticed in med school I could not see the blackboard. So, and I used to like sitting in the back. So, anyway, so lagpas na kami sa kami sa panahon ng sunlight. But I had a lot of sunlight when I was young. So I don't know.
Oo. So baka siguro kaya hindi masyadong you did not parang it's not severe, parang hindi ganun kataas ang grado mo nung bata ka pa. Oo. Pero nag-progress siguro siya. At saka for younger children, minsan they are able to accommodate well. So actually may grado yung mata nila pero maliit lang and they're able to accommodate kaya perfect pa rin yung vision nila. You lose the accommodation as you grow older. Karamihan actually pag mga 30s, late 30s na to 40s. So that's when they start naman wearing eyeglasses.
Doc Leo, there's a question here. Where can, a lot of people from DepEd watch this program, no? So where can they get the training and the training module?
Soon pag ni-launch ito, magkakaroon ng program, but they can actually talk to DepEd and directly to the Philippine Eye Research Institute. Pwede rin sa Philippine Eye Research Institute. Our website is www.ped.gov.ph. PERI, PERI.ph, or go to the website of University of the Philippines, Manila. Nandun yung link sa PERI. So they can communicate with us, no? But we are doing a gradual program.
Let's put it in the chat. Let's put it in the chat.
Yes, oo. We're doing a program where, kasi covered naman siya ng government. So soon, lahat ng mga classrooms will be given these free kits, no, by the government. Oo. So isulat ko na lang yung yung
put it in the
website.
chat. Okay, I think we are close to the top of the hour. We have to move now into answering the questions on the fun quiz. So Raymond, over to you.
We have it also yung Slido on the screen so that everyone can see. Thank you so much. These 3 questions, I'll direct them all to Dr. Cubillan. In the first question, in a class of 40 students, how many will not be able to read what is written in the blackboard, Dr. Leo? Is it 4, 2, 4, 6, or 8?
Oo. So tama naman sila, no? 4 ang majority. Ang average natin is bali 8.9 or around near 10%, kaya 4 sa 40. Kung 20 yung class, 2 may error of refraction. Kasama na doon yung amblyopia. Kaya ang correct answer is 4.
10%. Okay. Next question, ano po kaya ang maaaring gawin para hindi tumaas ang grado ng mata? Although nabanggit niyo na to, sir. Baka ano lang. Reiterate.
Oo. So okay naman, no? Actually, yung wag maligo sa gabi at wag matulog na basa ang buhok. One of our mga fallacies natin in terms of sa eye, no? So although sinasabi natin pag medyo natulog ka na basa yung buhok, nagkaka-headache kasi. Parang minsan people experience headache, so they think it could be related to the eye, no? But actually parang wala naman siyang damage sa mata. But it's an outdoor light exposure. But again, no, we're saying don't look at the light. It's more of it's just the exposure to bright light. In fact, outside, even yung program sa Singapore at saka sa Taiwan, when they go out, they wear sunglasses. The kids are asked to wear sunglasses to protect from the UV rays kasi nakaka-damage sa mata din yung UV rays. So you wear sunglasses. So even you cut down the brightness of the light, but it's still enough to have a normal eye growth. So yun yung sagot. Tama yung sagot ng karamihan.
Very good. 88% in Slido, 92% in Zoom. And finally, for our third question, the recommended screen time for children aged 2 to 5 years old, Dr. Leo.
Oo. So ayun, oo. So strictly 1 hour up to 2 hours kasi parang in general pag elementary, high school, no? The WHO recommendation sa high school up to 2 hours. Tapos sa mga bata parang dapat 1 hour lang, but yung sinasabi nga ni so tama naman yung sagot, no, nasa 2 hour range, but less than 2 years old dapat 0. And then ang common na tanong, paano na yung online class, no? So parang sinasabi natin pag during online class kasi required, so okay yon. Pero yung outside dapat less than 2 hours.
Okay. Very good, very good. So thank you po for all of those who were able to participate, and we hope you'll be able to remember the correct answers po dito po sa 3 tamang kasagutan natin. Before we ask our panelists for their parting words, essentially what will be their message to our audience, in front of your screens are the questions to evaluation poll po, no? These are 5 questions, 4-point Likert scale po sila, and I'll read through them, and hopefully you'll be able to participate in the evaluation poll. There is no separate evaluation poll na pinapadala po namin. Ito na po iyon. So we really encourage everyone to participate. The first question, the panelists demonstrated thorough knowledge of the topic. Number 2, the panelists were well prepared and organized. Number 3, the panelists spoke clearly and audibly. Number 4, panelists used appropriate language with technical medical jargons adequately explained. And finally, panelists contributed to new perspectives and knowledge on managing various key health issues. Again, we will not be closing this evaluation poll until the end of the webinar. As we turn the floor over to our panelists po, no, for their parting messages. Dr. Susie.
Okay, thank you very much, Raymond. So we will have, actually we want to ask all of our participants in the panel to say a few words. So we'll start first with Mami Risa. Mami Risa, anong gusto niyong sabihin sa mga nakikinig sa atin?
Sa mga nakikinig, no, like me nga nanay na din, awareness po sa atin na dapat po talaga ipa-check up yung anak natin pag may nakita na tayong hindi tama. Yan po.
Okay, thank you very much, Mami Risa. How about Teacher GL?
Hello, Doc. Thank you po, Doc. As a teacher po, Doc, it is necessary to check the vision of the pupils as early as in their kindergarten years, because children nowadays are exposed too much with all the gadgets. Pag hindi nila clearly nakikita yung isinusulat ng teacher or pinagpakita ng teacher, the learning po will not be fun and meaningful for the children. So dapat as early as possible na-address na po yung pangangailangan nila regarding their vision. So dapat kada vision screening, we are very lucky that we have the kit provided by the PERI last 2019. So pwede rin po namin magamit yon. And after po, siguro seek another help sa mga medical experts sa mata so that the needs will be properly addressed. So sum it up, sana po these children with deficiency in their vision or difficulty in their vision, not only the program will not only stop in the vision screening, but may further examination po na ma-recommend, at sana these children na medyo nahirap sa buhay, sana mayroong mga stakeholder or people, alam na natin, with all the good heart na mag-provide or mag-donate ng eyeglass for free to these children. Yun lang po, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teacher GL. So salamat sa inyong dalawa. Nagbigay kayo ng panahon nyo, ng oras nyo para sumama sa ating webinar. Marami po kaming natutunan sa inyo. And sa uulitin, keep up the good work. No?
Yes,
At kalat natin
Thank you po,
ang
Doc.
kaalaman natin. Okay, Doc Lorna, go ahead. Dr. Lorna Abad.
As we've been taught, even in elementary, yung mga important senses, and sight is one of the important senses that we can have. We should treasure that. And for my co-doctors, let us do our part in lessening and lowering the incidence of blindness in the next years to come. And for the parents, let us be observant of our children. Kung sila ay hindi nag-assignment or not performing well in school, pagpaluin, baka ang problema ay pala ay sa mata. So let's take care of our eyes because the world is so beautiful. We have to enjoy the beauty of nature as well as the beauty of the people around us. So mag-ingatan po natin ang ating mata at mga doktor, kapwa ko doktor, gawin na nating mag-refer sa ating mga ophthalmologist yearly. Kasi pwede pala silang symptoms.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lorna. Very inspiring. Ang si Doc Lorna talagang very positive ang energy. Okay, Dr. Leo, your turn.
So thank you sa opportunity na pakita namin yung programs natin sa Philippine Eye Research Institute at saka with the DOH and DepEd. I'd like to ask na parang we support this program. Maganda na nakita natin today that we have Teacher GL at saka si Mami Risa that they're able to experience the program on vision screening. Maganda na we support and make it parang done yearly para yung mga bata natin na hindi may iba hindi naman nila i-volunteer or hindi na observe na hindi nakakita ay we can screen so that all children will be screened at nakita natin pag may problema sa mata ay we can refer and hopefully with the help of PhilHealth, kagaya nung sinabi ni Teacher GL, na mabigyan sila ng lunas din, no, ng solution kung sila ay may merong visual impairment. At and then kami na nasa academe sa Perry, we will continue working and exploring the different ways to prevent blindness, no, in the country, from mula children hanggang pagtanda. Actually, dagdag ko lang na yung sinabi ni Doc Lorna, yung screening kasi, yes, it's true that we have to start from birth. Meron tayong mga programa for screening for premature children. No? May criteria yon na they have to be screened for retinopathy of prematurity, kasi majority of our kids na nasa school for the blind dahil sa retinopathy of prematurity. But for a national program for vision screening, doon natin ipapasok sa around 3 to 5 years old kasi worldwide. So makakatch natin sila as they enter school during kindergarten. So with that, thank you, and hopefully there will be less children who will be blind and can see better, no? So they have a better future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's Dr. Leo Cubillan, who's the director of the
research institute,
the Perry in the National Institutes of Health. Okay, we have our closing remarks by one of the members of our team. We've had her as a guest before, pero ngayon nag-closing remarks na siya. We're so happy to have her here, Dr. Dionne Sacdalan, who is the PGH Coordinator for training at the Philippine General Hospital. Go ahead, Dionne.
Good afternoon, everyone. Marami pong salamat, Dr. Susie and Dr. Raymond, and our distinguished speakers, Rreactors and parent guest, Ma'am Riza and Teacher GL. So still with COVID in the background, this afternoon we discussed another threat to healthy living and wellness, that is myopia or nearsightedness, particularly among children. Our main speaker, Dr. Leo Cubillan, who's an ophthalmologist and the director of the Philippine Eye Research Institute of the NIH of the UP Manila, presented the results of the epidemiologic study that they did, the Philippine IDC study, which was completed in 2018. He said that 1.98% of Filipinos are visually impaired. So that's around 2 million. And the most common problems or cataract, uncorrected error of refraction, and problems with vision because of diabetes complication. But he also said that the actual prevalence is more because people are left to be undiagnosed because of minimal or no symptoms. But zooming into our children, the Philippine IDC study noted that visual impairment affects 9% of kindergarten kids. And when they grow up among high school students, visual impairment affects around 16%. And 90% of this 16% are actually myopic. He also mentioned that the prevalence is still increasing to the point that half of the world population may have myopia by 2050. So in his talk, he presented three important things. First, our country has a national vision screening program, and this was enacted in July of 2019. In this program, there is mandatory screening for all kindergarten pupils to identify and treat problems as early as 3 to 5 years of age when they're kindergarten. So this program is being implemented pre-pandemic by training our school teachers on how to do the screening. Our ophthalmologists also started going around the country pre-pandemic to do the screening. But because of the pandemic, they had to resort to online remote vision screening. So they tried to distribute screening kits across the country, and hopefully this will be continued as we move on to the new normal. So in the screening program, once the kids are identified, that the child is known to have visual impairment, it will be recommended that the child should be placed in the front row seats. And during the early stages of the implementation, they found that there's improved performance in school with this strategy. Hopefully, we're seeing that the DOH will have funding so that we can also provide glasses to these kids as well. Secondly, he mentioned about the prescribed screening time for children. He said that who recommends no screen time for kids less than 2 years old? Mommies, we have to remember this. By 2 to 5 years old, we can increase the screen time a bit, but the limit is up to 1 hour only per day. When they are grown up in high school, the limit should be up to 2 hours. Finally, Dr. Cubillan emphasized the importance of increased outdoor light exposure. And he said as much as 3 hours per day to help prevent vision problems or address progression. Actually, the Department of Education mandates an allotment of additional 1 hour daily for our outdoor activities for our children in the kindergarten years and among our primary school students. Dr. Lorna Abad, on the other hand, who's our immediate past chair in the Department of Pediatrics, mentioned that the American Academy of Pediatricians recommended screening at 3 years. But according to her, eye screening should start at birth. And it should be continued through infancy, childhood, and even through adolescent and adulthood. She emphasized the role of pediatricians in detecting any visual problems because pediatricians have specific signs that they look for at specific growth milestones that they can use to detect any eye or vision problems. However, the parents also have an important role in detecting these eye and vision problems so that they can consult early with our doctors and ophthalmologists. He mentioned about the important cues that our parents should look at, and these are their children's response to visual stimuli like colorful figures, their distance when watching television, whether the child tilts their head or looks sideways when they look at something, and their performance in school. Dr. Abad also emphasized the importance of healthy diet, avoidance of sweet drinks, exercise, and outdoor activities of 1 hour per day at least for better child health in general. Both doctors explained that uncorrected vision problems have dramatic impact on learning capabilities and academic potential and a negative impact on social growth. So to answer the question posed by this webinar, ilang taon dapat magpa-check-up ng mata ang isang bata? Our country is mandating screening by 3 to 5 years of age or during their kindergarten years. But our pediatricians emphasize that as early as birth, our doctors and parents should already be cognizant of potential eye and vision problems among our children for earlier consult with our doctors for confirmation and for further management. So all these information should be shared with the parents and maybe school physicians and authorities as early detection leads to early intervention. To quote Dr. Abad, we need to focus on our eye health as healthy brain function needs healthy eyesight. Back to you, Ma'am Susie.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dionne Sacdalan, the PGH Director for Training, for that excellent summary. And I'd like to thank our guests today, Dr. Leo Cubillan and Dr. Lorna Abad, and our other special guests, Teacher GL and Mami Risa. So next week po, nako, don't miss it. Ang ganda ng topic natin. You know, there's been a 10-year study on road safety. How safe are our roads? Alam niyo, minsan, nakikita niyo sa balita palagi, laging merong nasasaktan, namamatay dahil sa mga disgrasya, no? Mga nangyayari on the road. So, what do we know about road safety? And our special guest is somebody you like. We always have him on the show, Dr. Ted Herbosa, who is the chair of the PGH Emergency Department. So, antabayanan niyo po yan. That's our topic next week. How safe are our roads? Over to you, Raymond.
Thank you so much, Dr. Susie. So nasabi na po natin, and hopefully you'll be able to participate dun po ating next webinar on road safety. Napakahalaga po niyang topic na yan. What we are showing on the screen po is the results of the evaluation poll. 94%, at least 94% po of our participants said that they strongly agree with all of the statements here in our evaluation poll. We'd also like to thank Dr. Dionne Sacdalan, PGH Coordinator, for training po, for a wonderful synthesis and closing remarks. And also extend our gratitude sa ating mga speakers, Director Cubillan of PERI, Dr. Lorna Abad, immediate past chair of the Department of Pediatrics, PGH, and si Teacher GL at si Ma'am Lisa po. Before we conclude our program, we'd like to thank the very hardworking team behind the Stop COVID Deaths webinar series. So without each and every one of you, we won't be able to churn out quality content each and every week. We also would want to let you know that all of our webinars are archived in the YouTube channel of TVUP. 120 po siya ngayon. After this webinar, it will be 121 webinars na po thereafter. You will need to go to youtube.com/TVUPPH for you to be able to see all of the 120 and then after today, 121 webinars na po. Finally, we understand everyone is very busy, so we want to be able to show you very quick clips po, no? Short clips, consumable ones, which we lovingly call SCD shorts. You'll also be able to see them in the TVUP YouTube channel. These are just nuggets of wisdom selected po, no, from each of our webinars po, and hopefully that's something that you'll be able to share also. Maybe if you're commuting to work or having your quick break, you'll be able to watch them dito po sa YouTube channel ng TVUP. So this formally closes our webinar for the week. Magkita-kita po tayo ulit next week again from ng Friday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. It's a date.
Together we can stop COVID deaths.
So keep safe, keep healthy, and see you online.